Right, I put it off for a while because we've just been camping. So I'm going to extract the honey today from the 5 frames that I've got. I've been doing a bit of research and looking up on YouTube and watching quite a few people extract their honey by crushing and straining the honeycomb. So I've only got 5 frames, so I didn't really want to use my massive honey extractor because by the time the 5 frames are extracted, it doesn't pour out of the little valve it's got at the front because it's just not deep enough. So I have to tip up this massive container to try and get it out, and then a lot of it gets stuck to the sides and I lose a lot of honey, and it's also a pain to clean. So with only 5 frames, this is a quicker, well, maybe not quicker, but it's an easier way with less cleaning up, I think. I hope. So I'm going to kind of walk you through some of the bits and pieces that I do to do that. So I'm going to turn my camera around and show you the equipment that I'm going to be using. I may not use all of it, but here we go. So I'm going to use the roasting tin just to put the empty frames to sitting, because they're still going to be a bit drippy with honey, so that can catch the honey and I can scrape that out if I need to. I've got a spoon, I've got a spatula, I've got my uncapping knife. So this is really good for scraping the wax off the cells that have the honey in, so that just takes those off. I've got a potato masher because I'm then going to crush the wax that's got the honey in it to release the honey. This is a double strainer. This will catch all the bits of wax. So the first one is quite a coarse mesh, which will catch the really big lumps of wax. And then this is a much finer mesh at the bottom to catch any tiny bits of wax. Now, the wax that we're going to be straining hasn't had any bees in it. It's only been storing honey, so there won't be any yucky bits to kind of remove. I've then got my bucket here with this honey trap at the bottom that you can loosen up and then let the honey pour out of it into the jars. So this is what I'm going to eventually put it in. I'm going to crush it in the bowl and strain it into the bucket, and then it will be ready for putting into the jars. So let's get started. Here is my beautiful frame of capped honey. So inside every single one of these little cells is honey ready to go, and then they've put this little wax seal over the top of it to keep it safe. And if I turn it round, it's like it on the other side as well. It's beautiful. So I'm really looking forward to getting my honey out. Hooray! So I've just used my uncapping knife to slide along the surface of the honeycomb. You can see that that wax capping is now gone, and all of these little cells here are open and oozing with honey. So good. And there's the wax in the bowl that I've just cut off. So I'm now going to use my spatula to scrape down the surface and clean it off into the bowl. Unfortunately, I can't show you me doing it. I've got the tripod out, I've been balancing my phone on the toaster, and I just don't have a way at the moment of setting up my camera so that you can see what I'm doing. I need to sort it out. I have actually searched for some camera equipment and things, but I'll get something sorted, and then I'll be able to have 2 hands and actively do stuff, and you'll be able to watch me do it. So I'll show you the honey in the bowl in a minute. So I've now dragged my spatula down the surface of the comb, just scraping all the wax and all the honey off into the bowl. Look at that. So I'm going to carry on doing that to the other side, and then I'm going to use my potato masher to break up all the bits of wax that are in there to make sure all of the honey comes out, and then I'll pour it into the strainer. I've been having a cheeky little taste, I can't help it. So good, so good. I can't explain how amazing it is when you've looked after these beautiful little creatures and yes, they're scary, and yes, I'm scared every time I open the hive, to be honest. But when you do get a little taste of that honey that they've been producing and working so hard for, it is just incredible. I've got the stick here to balance the frames on, but I've been having a little dip, and it's just the best thing ever, and that is genuine. Just so happy right now. So this is how much I've got from 3 frames of honey. I mean, it still looks like there's quite a bit sort of glistening along here. I just can't stop eating it. It's so good. Excuse me. So what I'm now going to do is take the potato masher and just mash it up. Ugh, it's really thick and sticky. And break up all of that wax so that there's no honey trapped in any wax cells. So I'm going to do this for a bit and just break it all up. You can see all the wax floating in there, those lighter bits. Then it will be ready for straining. So I've got my double strainer sat on top of my bucket with the little honey gate on it. So I'm going to tip all my honey into that, and then we're going to let it sit, and all the honey will run through into the bucket. There we go, that's now sat in the strainer, and you can probably hear the honey dropping through to the bottom. It's all running into the bottom of the bucket. We'll start collecting. Always make sure that your honey gate is shut, because we don't want that flowing all over the floor. So now I'm going to process the other 3 frames that I've got, and then we'll see how much honey I've got. So these are all the wax bits that were left in the sieve, and I feel like there's still quite a lot of honey in there, so I'm going to put it in a cheesecloth, and I'm going to screw it up and tie it up and squeeze it really tight, and hope to get the last few bits of honey out of that, because I don't want to waste it. Yes! Look at that! A big shiny ball of muslin with oozing honey dropping into the bowl. So good. I'm so glad I didn't waste that. Now over in my bucket, got my honey all sat there ready to go. There's probably about 5 jars in there, so I'm quite excited by that. So I've got my jars at the ready, and I'm gonna try to get some honey in the jar. This is the best bit. Look at that honey. Let's do the other side. How good is that?